and welcome to Becky's House of Sewing. I'm Becky. This is my House of Sewing, and this is where I talk about all things thread and needle. My favorite subjects. One of. Definitely something I've been thinking a lot about. The pandemic only put fuel on that fire. So, welcome back. Welcome to those who have already subscribed and watch me all the time. I appreciate it. Welcome to anybody new. I hope you enjoy, the things we're talking about today, and I have some exciting things to share, so I'm excited about that. We'll do a little life catch-up, which involves a little bit of haul, of course, and show you what I've been stitching on. I sometimes talk about quilting, but it's mostly cross-stitch today. It's all cross-stitch today, so that's kind of fun. I have been leaning more towards cross-stitch. I'm always curious to kind of figure out like why I do things, or why I think the way I do, or just being curious in general about what's motivating me, essentially. Cross stitch is easy to do on the couch with my dogs nestled in next to me, and it is quiet, and it sometimes doesn't require as much prep work as a sewing machine or doing a quilt does. So I don't know, I just love it. I've always cross-stitched. So I remember cross-stitching as a little girl with my mom and the Wednesday Stitchers. And I don't think I've done it as extensively as I have recently, but I would always do a cross-stitch here and there. I get cross-stitch gifts for Christmas and whip them out pretty quickly. I would do wedding samplers for my friends, baby samplers for my friends, that kind of thing. To me, a sampler of sorts commemorates a point in time or a special event, and I've always thought that was sentimental and important, and made with lots of love, just like a quilt is, which is why I also like quilting. So I just always have. But I would say since the pandemic, I have really thrown myself into it, and it's something I do much more regularly, which is great. I'm enjoying it, and that's really all that matters. So I don't know where to begin. Well, let me talk about what's been going on. So today is September, September 3rd. I can't believe it's September already, Labor Day weekend. It's around 2:30 in the afternoon, so the sun's starting to come into my room. It may get hot. This room is hot or cold, depending on the time of year. But last weekend I had a girls trip, a mother-daughter trip with one of my oldest friends and her mother, who's friends with my mother first. That's how we've essentially, the two daughters have known each other all our lives because our mothers met in their high school, college years. So that was fun. We met, I live in the Charlotte area. My mom lives in Boone. My friend lives in the Raleigh-Durham area, and her mother lives in Jacksonville, North Carolina, on the beach. So we decided, since the one mom has to come here anyway, and we wanted to go to someplace that didn't take too long to get to because we really only had a weekend together. So we went to Greensboro because I wanted to go to Replacements. And I'll tell you about Replacements in a minute, but also it was kind of a halfway point for my mom and me and my friend and that kind of thing. So it seemed kind of fun to get a little Airbnb and talk and chat and eat and shop and all the things like that. So Friday morning, I met up with my mom and dad and picked up my mom, and we then headed directly to Stitch Point on Friendly, which is one that Cross Stitch Needlepoint knit store has a lot of different needleworks, which is lovely. Because I really thought it was more needlepoint than it was anything else. It was nice to see what a great selection they had of all things, needles, fabric, threads, all that kind of stuff. So it was fun to go to that. Mom had never been either, and for some reason she had never heard of it, which highly unusual if you know my mother. Like, my mother doesn't not know things. So I was really surprised that I had introduced her and she didn't know it even existed. Because in Boone, there's not an LNS. We have Crafts, Cross Stitch and More, something like that, in Tennessee, in Johnson City. And then there's a couple shops that are opening or waiting to remodel, Sassy Jack Stitchery. And there's a new shop called Annabelle's in the same Waynesville, Asheville kind of area that we've gone to before. So Greensboro is like about an hour away from my mom. It's just kind of in the middle between Johnson City and Greensboro. So it's nice for her to have another shop to go to on her list. She did more damage than I did at that store. But I did buy some things, which I'll show you, along with my whips. I got some threads for a start. And then we went to replacements. No, we didn't go to replacements that day. Then we went to Reconsider Goods, which is also a family favorite. So Reconsider Goods is in Greensboro, across the street from a very good Thai restaurant if you're interested. And they are a craft thrift store. Mia, come here. Good girl. Make sure she's not being naughty. So they have, if you can make something with it, they have it there, including like some dishes and silverware and, you know, unfinished cross stitches. They have trims and cross stitch fabric and leather goods and records, and they just have all kinds of cool stuff. So we went there too while we were waiting for our friends to kind of come, because my friend's a teacher, so she had to wrap up her last day kind of before, and she's really an assistant principal. Wrap up her last day before the kids came back to school. So a lot of meetings. Wake up, wake up. So that's what my mom and I did to keep ourselves occupied on Friday. And got some good stuff. So let me just show you. Let me jump into haul. So at Reconsider Goods, I spent a whopping $6 and got these cute little dishes. And this little guy here too. Look, they're already in use. Clink, clink. Cheers. And then I got this one too. So these have some stickers in. I'll share with you later what they are. And then I got some Rick Rack, Patty Whack, give a dog a bone. I got a brown, a navy blue, this bright color, and a red. And all of that cost $6. Go to Reconsider Goods. Or look up, there's several craft thrift stores that I have heard of around the different parts of the nation. Also Swanson Fabrics, which is also an online business. I forget where they're located, but they basically take donated fabric and resell it. So, and it's all kinds of fabric. So Swanson Fabrics and Reconsider Goods, I highly recommend. And then again at the cross stitch store, I got these threads. which are all fancy flosses, and I did this for a Blackbird design. They happen to have, I didn't plan on this, but they happen to have the Sewing Club book there, which I already own. So I flipped through and wanted to see what threads I could get for a project, and I decided on this one here. And I'll show you my start a little bit later. Isn't that pretty? So that was kind of my haul. The following day we went to Replacements, and Replacements is also online, so replacements.com. And if you collect any fine china or silverware or figurines, or, you know, think of all the collectibles, and they have it. It started with this gentleman going to estate sales and garage sales, and people asking him to look for different things, and he would resell them. And now it's this ginormous big company, big warehouse, and it's really neat to go. So it's neat to see. But I also have, my mother has already given me her rose chintz that she started collecting when she was 20. So it's a pattern from Johnson Brothers, and my husband has systematically broken all of the fruit bowls. So I knew I needed some fruit bowls, and I wanted to see what else they had. So I picked up a couple other dishes and bowls. That's where I spent my haul there. I didn't bring any of them in, but trust me, I bought them, I've washed them, already using them with great delight. So that was a fun weekend, and back to work I go, and you know, just doing the cross stitching. Because I got threads for a new start, I had to start something. So why don't we jump into what I'm stitching on, what I'm working on. Let me get that one out since I just showed it to you. So this is my start. And notice I've gotten my scroll frames out, and that's kind of nice. I'm storing them standing up in my bag. I've got 2 on scroll frames now with Mrs. Campbell, so that's been nice. This is a fun, easy stitch. It's quite enjoyable. It's only like 2 nights of stitching. I am struggling a little bit because I usually use DMC or Color Fast threads, and I'll run them through a damp sponge to kind of straighten them out so they don't get kinky and curly and knotted. I can't do that with these threads because most of them are not Color Fast. So, which is another reason why I put it on a scroll frame, so that I'm not handling the fabric as much. So if anybody has any tips or tricks on how to keep them from getting curly and knotted, I'd appreciate it. I have put a couple of stitches in Mrs. Campbell. So let me get her out so you can see her. I remembered to bring the pattern. Mrs. Campbell from Hands Across the Sea. Don't you love it? I'm doing this with everything called for, the Tabby Cat 46 count linen and the 103 silks. And you can see I did that little guy. It's still slow going. Yeah, there's a little more thought and a little more work in Mrs. Campbell, that but you can see I rolled her up a little bit. Let's see if I can loosen her up so you can see all the stuff I've done. So the Algerian eyelet letters are fun to do because the number of the thread that I use is printed right on the pattern, and all the rest is with symbols, and the symbols are in color too, so you kind of guess on where you're going. But yeah, these are all the threads. So there's only a couple. It's like 27 threads. So there's a lot of color changes, and trying to remember what the symbols are. Again, I haven't had this sheet handy, so it's like I gotta have 3 contraptions out. But it's Sampler September, so I am determined to get 1 or 2 threads in every every other day-ish. But really give her some attention this month so I can feel like I'm making a little more progress on it. While I have her out, let me just show you. I've made this bag. It's a by Annie bag. I think it's called the Carry-All 2.0. Where's my dog? Mia? Mia, come! Mia! Come here, girl. I don't want them to be unattended alone, even though seems to be fine. Trouble can brew at any moment. So sorry for the interruption. So this is the Carry-All Caddy 2.0, and I have some of my sewing supplies in there. This thread, because obviously a project bag isn't conducive necessarily to a scroll frame. I need to probably design something that I like to wrap around the scroll frame. But I keep my 103s in these little pods. Nicola Parkman, sorry, not Nicole. Nicola Parkman talked about these on one of her episodes, and they're a European brand. I think you probably could go on Amazon and get like the ice cube trays, silicone ice cube trays that are about this size, and they would do the same thing, but it's really nice to store them this way and easy to access them and lay them out like on my chair and kind of just peruse what I need. But those fit nicely in here, as well as my glasses and all the good lighting that I have ready to go. So that's kind of how I store her. Put those threads back in here so I don't forget them. And then I don't know if you guys remember, I do have a quilt class that I'm taking, the Halo quilt class. And they have, in the Halo quilt, they have these little squares, and they're probably like a 3 1/4 inch square finished. And I found a cross stitch that I had done on Ada a long time ago that was clearly like from a kit that was just the right size, and that inspired me because I have Lori Holt's stitch cards. I have these. They were gifted to me by a friend. I was like, well, if I do all 4 of these, then I would have 5, and an odd number is always good in a quilt. So I did already have the thread pack. And I've just been banging them out. Since it's Lori Holt, I put it in my Lori Holt bag that I made. Put all those back, and I've done 2 of the 4. Halfway through the ones with the thread. What are those? Spools of thread. I knew I'd get there. So it's on just a scrap piece of 32 count linen. And I'm thinking it's vintage country mocha because it's printed on the other side. I used the wrong side of the fabric because I didn't want the print on it. So that's what I've done. So I did 1 and 2. It's about 5 hours of stitching for each one. The first one I just stayed up far too late because I was just addicted. So that's kind of fun to get done. I have... that class is September 30th, I think. It's the end of, maybe it's the 29th. No, it's the 30th, it's Saturday. So, that's fun. Let's see, what else? For Sampler September, my goal was to work on the Dutch sampler from Hello from Liz Matthews, the big dude. I haven't done much on her. In fact, I don't know if I've stitched on her at all, but since I have it out, you want to see? Of course you do. Isn't that pretty? It's So pretty. Got that. And then another one that I haven't touched yet but intend to is, oh yes, yes Mia, you're so sweet, is the peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. Just here's some motifs up close, finished. It's a full coverage piece. I'm going to pull this out so that maybe it inspires me to work on it a little tonight. It is very fun to work on. And this is where I'm at with that guy. But I am proud of myself. I did participate on the 1st of September and did a couple threads on Mrs. Campbell, so I'm not misbehaving too badly. And let's face it, even if I do misbehave, who cares? The whole point is to have fun, right? I'm just putting everything back in my bag. I have, my husband likes to buy the bags when he's in Germany because they don't have plastic bags, they have reusable bags. And he bought one that has a nice structure to it, so I use it to like tote my whips and to and fro different places if I'm going to go meet up with some friends or whatnot. So let me show you kind of what it looks like. Oh, Mia, you're sitting in the hoop. I mean, the handle, I mean. She was adorable. So this is the German bag. It's kind of how I store it, right next to the couch. So I have that, and then my carry-all tote right next to each other. So that's kind of fun and easy to pick up stuff and easy to put it away. That's really the bigger part. Don't want any kids to get into it, you know. So the other thing I've been doing, which I think I mentioned last time, is I am going to occasionally sell some project bags. So how to do that, how to make them, blah, 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 blah. I love to make project bags. I don't have enough projects to put in project bags that I make, so it kind of makes sense for me to sell them. And Becky's House of Sewing, I had made labels a while ago from an Etsy store, and so I started making bags, and I have about 15 to sell. So I thought I'd show some of them to you. What I'm going to do, I'm having a hard time figuring out Etsy. So what I plan on doing is just making an Instagram account, and then we'll figure out payment through PayPal for now. It's a hobby, it's not a business yet? Question mark? Maybe it will turn into a business. It's not yet. So Becky's House of Sewing on Instagram. I will start being better about leaving things in the description so that you guys can contact me better. So slide into my DMs if you like any of these. And I will have more pictures up here shortly. So they're all a little different. They all have 3 different fabrics in them. Some have all 3, some have 1, but they're all in the same color family. So here's some of my vinyl bags, and I like to do a yellow or neutral on the inside. So I did some that look like this, and one of those has the different print around it. But most of those with the rose on the inside, well, let's see, that has a different top. They're all a little different. With the white zipper. I made little tags on my Cricut. That's the other thing too, I'm learning to do more things on my Cricut, which is fun. So it's just a little vinyl note to be cautious how you store your vinyl. There's another one of those. So I have 5 of that style I have this one that's a one of a kind, and I had to piece the back because I'm trying to use all of the materials, and trying just to pay attention to what I would need if I'm going to order fabric specifically to make bags with. So I made one like that. Then I have several that are quilted in different styles, but the same kind of layout. Again, this has the other companion piece to it. So you can see all three fabrics are together in that one. Like that. Another one like this. Another one like this. And another one like this. So I have 4 like that. Then I have some fun ones. Again, I was trying to like just use all the things I have, and I like to make these bags with some foam to them because I like the structure and the heft, and I just feel like it protects my project a little bit when it has a little padding to it. Then the foam is just a little more cushion than what a batting or what interfacing can give me. So again, this is a vinyl one that I was using up scraps for. The other ones I was showing you are like 12 by 14s, and then these are like 10 by 12s or 10 by 14s. I have a couple of square ones that I think are 12 by 12s. So that one's like all no vinyl. And then I have this cool one at Quilt Guild. Somebody was moving and giving away stuff that she doesn't want to move. So I got this cross stitch that she had finished, and I was like, that'll make a perfect bag. Isn't that cute? So this one doesn't have a vinyl front either, and it's got that pretty crazy stuff on it. Again, on the inside I have yellow, but I didn't quilt this one because I didn't want to damage the cross stitch. Isn't that cute? I really like that one. And then I made 4 without vinyl in the same kind of spirit. And these do have quilted on the inside. And the quilting's different in all of them. But I like the blue and yellow combo of them. So, for now, I'm going to sell them at $50 each. That would include shipping and handling. So, consider that like $40 a bag plus the shipping and handling. So that's kind of a going rate, I think. But give me your thoughts. If I am way off or I'm not charging enough, let me know. But I think that's where I want to start. And if you're interested, give me a shout out, comment below, or shoot me a message in Instagram. Again, the account I have for specifically for selling bags, and I think I'll post my stitching on it as well, is going to be Becky's House of Sewing as well. Obviously no apostrophe, but all spelled out. My husband and I have great debates on what my name should be. and I'm just going with this. He thinks it's too long. Again, if you have strong comments or feelings, let me know. Tell me all about it. I'd love to hear it. So that's what I've been working on, cutting and sewing, and honestly, it's really a lot of fun. It's a quick project. It feels good to have something completed, and I really enjoy doing this kind of binding. This is not a hard pattern to do. I'd be happy to share the different places I have perused on YouTube to come up with this pattern. I think my next round will be 16 by 12s and not 14s. So that's something I'm going to be playing with, a little bit of the size. But this is a nice size to ship, and it holds a project really nicely. But I think I prefer something that's slightly wider. I think that gives me a little wiggle room to make a bulkier project. put a bigger project in it because I like the big ones. You can take that and put that in your cap. Becky likes the big ones. Maybe that should be the title of this one. So this is just where the back is larger than the inside, the front, and I've just folded the fabric over and made miter corners. Again, I've seen and watched a lot of YouTube tutorials from Tiger Lily and Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and there's a couple other vinyl bag tutorials that I've watched, and I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but if you just typed vinyl project bag, you would find them. But some of the tips and tricks are, because they get used a lot, is to stitch down the miter corners so that everything stays nice and neat. Reinforcing at the zippers, and these zippers were fun to make because I bought zipper tape, and I think I talked about that last time, where I installed the zippers, so I feel very confident in that as well. So I've used up all the navy and almost all the white. I'm very excited. So now I need to find some grays and some purples and things like that to do some. Those are the zipper colors I have left. But yay, it's fun. And also, I think I talked about this last time, but I'm also making floss rings. I make them on my Cricut. I will also be selling these. I don't know how much I'll be selling these for, but this is a set of 30 with a ring. I think when I sell a project bag, I'm going to put a few in there, and also I'm going to use these stickers, which I want to talk to you about. So, I think everyone has some anxiety issues from time to time. I like to overthink things. I don't know about anybody else. Yeah, anybody like to overthink things? Anybody like to worry over things? And I have found over the years that meditating and, again, being curious on why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and also being confident that how I'm feeling will not be how I always feel. That how things are now will not be how things are forever. And sometimes that's comforting. Most of the time that's comforting, and because I feel like I kind of get obsessed with things. Like with stitching, like I get obsessed and I can't stop, or it's all I think about, and just going and going and going and going and going. So I forget sometimes to breathe. And I've seen lots of different versions of these mental health stickers that help you breathe or just take you through, like, breathing exercises, or even what the special forces and military use. Again, to calm yourself, to center yourself, bring yourself back into a calm state. So breathing in for 3 seconds, holding for 3 seconds, breathing out for 3 seconds, breathing in for 3 seconds. It's kind of known as the box method. And you could do 3 or 4, you can change the seconds to be whatever. But these stickers kind of take you through that. And they're in fun, different shapes and sizes. So if you buy a bag from me, you're going to get one of these stickers. And they're tactile, again, with this awareness of sensory ASMR and all that kind of information. Like, how nice is this with a little heart, where you hold it here and then you draw with your finger, again, as you do the steps, just to calm the fuck down. I said a bad word, I'm sorry. But alas, there you have it. So lots of different little stickers that I'm excited to share with you all. If you want your own, you can also check them out on Amazon. But just buy a bag for me. I'll get you one. Anyway, that is kind of all I have. Thank you for sticking around with me, even if I said a bad word. Oops. Those who know me, they understand. Those who don't know me, I hope you understand. But I hope you guys have a great week of stitching. I'm looking forward to keeping up with Sampler September. And also the New Hampshire Stitcher is the one that created the hashtag BAP to school, BAP to school, which means big ass project. The second bad word I've said today on a recording. Let's just be clear. And so most of my projects that I showed you qualify for the BAP to school, even though it's not the full spirit of the hashtag, which was to kid up and start a new thing in celebration to back to school, but it's still fine. You can join in however you want. If you do want to tag along and post, please tag the New Hampshire Stitcher when you use the hashtag, just so that the credit keeps going back to her. Because she started it. I don't know who started hashtag Sampler September, but feel free. Show me what you're working on, and I hope to talk to you soon. Have a great week. Bye.